Do 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 do. Good evening, wonderful people. Welcome to the very first episode of Our Journey to Dreamland. This evening, we are going to embark on a journey with many stories that will keep us company while we reach the dreamland. So grab your blankies and get ready for our journey. The first story we're going to read is called
Cave Chaos, the urgent quest for relief.
In the ancient times, long before smartphones or indoor plumbing, there lived 4 cavemen and cavewomen, because we're inclusive, with their personalities as wild as the woolly mammoths they hunted. There was Blue, the strong-willed and often perplexed leader, who was always trying to figure out the best way to survive in their chaotic world. Ghost was the bravest of the bunch, always ready to charge into danger, even if it was just a suspicious-looking rock. Homie, the hangry caveman, was constantly on the hunt for something to eat, and nothing else mattered until his belly was full. And finally, Wisteria, the loudest of them all, who always had one thing on her mind. That's right, you guessed it. The pressing need to poo.
One day, as the group sat around their stone circle, trying to decide what to do next, Wisteria suddenly jumped up, her face contorted in panic.
Booga booga! She shouted at the top of her lungs. Me need go poopy now!
Blue, who had been trying to figure out how to start a fire with 2 sticks, looked up, confused. Go? Go where? We stay here, safe from big-toothed animals.
Ghost, ever the brave one, stood up and grabbed her stone club. Maybe Wisteria mean go fight saber-toothed tiger? Me ready. Ooga!
Omi, who had been gnawing on an old bone, looked up with wide eyes. No! Me think Wisteria mean go find food. Me hungry. Me need big juice berries.
Wisteria was now hopping from foot to foot, her loud grunts echoing off the cables. No! Ooga booga! We need go toilet! Poo-poo!
Finally understanding the urgency of the situation, Blue slapped her forehead in realization. Ooga! Wisteria need place to make big decision? We help.
The 4 cavemen and cavewomen sprang to action. Ghost, eager as always, ran outside the cave to scout the area. She returned quickly, waving her club.
Ooga!
Excitedly.
A little slow there. Ooga! Found good spot. Behind big bush near river. Safe from big-toothed tiger. Wisteria, still hoping anxiously, was not convinced. But what if rain come? No one get wet. While we make big decision.
Blue scratched her head deep in thought. Need find place with roof. Maybe under a big tree?
Homie, who was still focused on his growling stomach, added, and near food. Me need snack while we wait for Wisteria.
The group ventured out of the cave, with Wisteria leading the way at a hurried pace. They searched high and low, inspecting every bush, tree, and rock pile they could find.
Ghost, ever brave, suggested a spot near the edge of the cliff. Look! High up! Can see everything. No surprise attack from Big Tooth.
Blue frowned, confused again. But what if wind blow? Wisteria might fall while making big decision?
Wisteria, who was now in full panic mode, groaned loudly. No! Need place now. Big rock cave with roof and privacy.
Finally, they stumbled upon a perfect spot. A small hidden cave near a cluster of berry bushes, with a big rock to sit on and a leafy roof overhead.
Blue declared. Safe, private, And food for homie. Ooga!
Wisteria wasted no time. She dashed into the small cave, waving frantically at her friends. Right outside, no peeking.
As Wisteria took care of her urgent business, the others stood guard outside, snacking on berries and chatting about their next adventure.
Ghost, ever the optimist, grinned. Me think we did good today. Found perfect spot for Wisteria.
Homie, his mouth full of berries, nodded. And food, too. Me happy.
Blue smiled, feeling a little less confused and a lot more satisfied. Yes, good job, everyone. We help Wisteria make big decision and find food. Today, we great team.
And so, as Wisteria emerged from the small cave, looking relieved and much quieter, the group of cavemen and cavewomen celebrated their successful quest.
Ooga! They all cheered together, ready for whatever the ancient world threw at them. The end.
end.
The end.
We will continue our journey to dreamland with a story called Ghost and Her Silly Friends. In a quirky little town, there was a little girl named Ghost. Ghost had a knack for getting into silly situations and always had her best friends by her side, Triskelle, Greg, and Arv. One bright sunny morning, Ghost, Triskelle, and Greg and Arv decided to embark on a silly misadventure. They had no idea what they were in for, but they were ready for whatever fun awaited them. Their adventure began at the town's annual Wacky Hat Day, where everyone wore their silliest, most extravagant hats. Ghost donned a hat that looked like a giant ice cream sundae with all the toppings, while Greg wore a hat shaped like a giant pair of shoes. Triskelle sported a hat with a mini garden on top, and Arf wore a hat with a built-in joke-telling feature. As they strolled down the street, Greg tried to impress everyone with his new dance moves. Unfortunately, he tripped over his own enormous shoe hat and went tumbling into a nearby pond with a splash. Oopsie daisy, I guess I'm just in over my head. Arf, ever ready with a joke, chuckled.
Okay, y'all. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
This made everyone laugh, including Greg, who was now floundering around in the pond like a playful fish. Ghost and Triskelle helped Greg out of the pond, but their day was just getting started. They heard about a magical treasure hunt happening at the town square and decided to join in the fun. Each clue was hidden in a goofy place, like inside a giant inflatable donut or under a trampoline that played music. The first clue led them to a huge pile of colorful balloons. Ghost, with her ice cream sundae hat, dove into the balloons and soon emerged with a bright green one tied to her head.
Found a clue.
The clue was written on a piece of paper that said, "To find the next clue, go to where the chickens like to strut their stuff,"
Well, that was easy.
said Triskelle, leading them to the town's chicken coop. But as soon as they arrived, the chickens started dancing around in tiny tutus, making it hard to spot anything.
Why did the chicken wear a tutu? To go to the ballet.
A joke adding to the chicken chaos. Greg, still dripping wet from the pond, slipped and accidentally bumped into the coop, causing the chicken to scatter and reveal the next clue hidden in the feathers. The clue read, "Head to the fountain where the fish wear glasses." They dashed to the town fountain where they found fish with tiny comical glasses on. Triskelle spotted the clue stuck to the fountain's edge and read it aloud.
The final clue is where the goofy hats are stored.
They raced back to the town square and into the hat store. Inside, the owner was a friendly old man who wore a hat made of spaghetti. He pointed them to a large box labeled Goofy Had Treasure. With eager hands, they dug into the box and found the final treasure, a giant rainbow-colored lollipop. The crowd cheered, and Ghost, Triskelle, Greg, and Off celebrated with a sweet treat. As they enjoyed their lollipop, Off couldn't resist one last joke.
Why did the lollipop go to school? Because it wanted to be a smarty.
The friends laughed together, their silly adventure coming to a close. They had faced unexpected tumbles, dancing chickens, and wacky hats, but through it all, they had each other and their sense of humor to keep them going. That night, as the stars twinkled brightly in the sky, Ghost, Triskelle, Greg, and Off snuggled up together in a cozy homes, dreaming of their next silly misadventure. And with a final chuckle, they drifted off to sleep, knowing that with friends like this, every day could be an adventure filled with laughter and joy. And thus ends the tale of Ghost and her wonderful silly misadventure with her best friends. Now we will move on to the next story, and it's called
Ghost and Homie's Whimsical Quest. In a land far away, where the skies were always bright, a bright shade of pink and the trees hummed gentle tunes, lived a lofty little elf named Ghost. She had a reputation for being quick on her feet and even quicker with her mind. Her companion, a jolly dwarf named Homie, was known far and wide for his contagious laughter and hearty appetite.
One bright morning, as the dew sparkled on the grass and the sun peeked over the horizon, Ghost and Homie set out on a peculiar quest. Ghost had heard tales of the cutest Pokemon, a creature so adorable that it could melt the heart of even the grumpiest ogre. Homie, on the other hand, had recently taken an interest in keto recipes. His latest craving? A delicious keto-friendly chicken dish.
Ghost! Homie chuckled as they walked. You want to catch the cutest Pokemon, and I'm just trying to catch a good meal.
They both laughed as they made their way through the enchanted forest, where the leaves whispered secrets and the animals danced in the shadows.
After hours of walking, they arrived at the grand, ancient tree. The tree's trunk was wide enough to house a small village, and its branches stretched high into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. This was the home of Wildfire, the legendary wizard known to most as Woman the Wise. She was said to have knowledge of all things from mystical to the mundane.
As they approached, the tree's door creaked open on its own, and out stepped Wildfire. She was a tall, elegant figure with silver hair that flowed like a waterfall and eyes that twinkled with mischief. Ah, Ghost and Homie, you've come to see what wisdom from Woman the Wise there might be.
She greeted them. She greeted them with a warm smile. Ghost bowed her head respectfully. I seek the knowledge to catch the cutest Pokemon, Woman the Wise. And I, Homie added with a grin, and I'm in search for a keto-friendly chicken recipe.
Two quests so different, yet both so grand. Let me lend you a helping hand.
She waved
her hand.
She waved her hand, and a shimmering portal appeared before them. The portal was filled with swirling colors and tiny sparks of magic.
Step through the portal, and you shall see the answers to your questions, both wild and free.
Ghost and Homie exchanged glances, and with a deep breath, stepped through the portal. On the other side, they found themselves in a vibrant meadow, filled with Pokemon of all shapes and sizes. In the center of the meadow sat a tiny, fluffy creature with big, round eyes and the most adorable little smile. It was the cutest Pokemon Ghost had ever seen.
My dear, the key to your quest is to approach with love and do your best, and you'll do your best. This little one seeks not a fight, but a friend who shines so bright.
Ghost knelt down, offering a Pokemon a gentle smile. The creature hopped into her arms, nuzzling her cheek. She has succeeded in her quest.
Meanwhile, Homie found himself in a rustic kitchen, where a large cookbook lay open on a wooden table. The pages were filled with recipes, and as he flipped through them, he found exactly what he was looking for: a keto-friendly chicken dish that made his mouth water just reading it. Homie, my dear friend, your quest is complete. With this recipe, your meal will be a treat. Cook with care and joy in your heart, and your dish will be a true work of art.
Homie beamed with satisfaction. Thank you, woman the wise.
The portal reappeared, and Ghost and Homie stepped back through it, returning to the enchanted forest where Wildfire awaited them. Your quests are done, and you've learned today that wisdom and joy always light the way. Now go, my friends, and share your delight, for the world is brighter with your light.
Ghost and Homie thanked woman the wise. The hearts full of gratitude, they set off their path back home, ready to share their new knowledge with their friends. The end.
The end.
We will continue our journey with story called
Ghost Dream Concert.
Ghost was buzzing with excitement. Today was the day she had been waiting for. She was going to meet her favorite pop star, Wisteria, the country music sensation, known for her soulful voice and heartful tunes. Ever since she first heard Wisteria songs, Ghost had been a devoted fan, memorizing every lyric and dancing along to every single beat.
But Ghost wasn't going alone. Her best friend Homie, the ever-supportive and goofy companion, was coming with her. Although country music wasn't exactly Homie's favorite, he knew how much this meant to Ghost, so he happily agreed to tag along.
The concert was being held in a beautiful outdoor venue, surrounded by rolling hills and fields of wildflowers. As they arrived, Ghost could hardly contain her excitement. The stage was set, the crowd was buzzing, and the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm, golden glow over the scene.
Can you believe it, Homie? Ghost said, practically bouncing on her toes. We're really here. We're going to see Wisteria perform live.
Homie chuckled, his easygoing grin spreading across his face.
I can see how excited you are, Ghost. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. As the crowd settled in, the lights dimmed, and a hush fell over the audience. Then, the sound of a lone guitar strumming filled the air, followed by a rich, velvety voice that sent chills down Ghost's spine. Wisteria had taken stage.
Dressed in a simple but elegant outfit, with her guitar slung over her shoulder, Wisteria smiled at the crowd and began to sing. Her voice was warm and inviting as a summer breeze, and the lyrics of her songs painted vivid pictures of love, heartache, and the beauty of the countryside. Every note she sang seemed to resonate with the audience, drawing them into her world.
Ghost was completely entranced. She swayed to the music, her eyes shining with admiration, as she watched her idol pour her art out on stage. Homie, seeing how much Ghost was enjoying herself, couldn't help but smile. Even though country music wasn't his thing, he found himself tapping his foot to the rhythm, caught up in the energy of the performance.
After a few songs, Wisteria paused to address the crowd. "Thank you all for coming out tonight," she said, her voice warm and sincere. "I've got a special treat for y'all. I'm going to sing a new song I wrote about following your dreams and never giving up. It's called Chasing the Stars."
As Wisteria began to play, Ghost felt a lump form in her throat. The lyrics spoke to her on a deep level, reminding her of her own dreams and the challenges she had faced along the way. The song was beautiful, and by the time Wisteria finished, there wasn't a dry eye in the crowd.
When the concert finally came to an end, the audience erupted into applause, cheering and clapping for the incredible performance they had just witnessed. Wisteria took a bow, her smile radiant, and then, to Ghost's utter disbelief, she stepped down from the stage and began mingling with the crowd.
Ghost's heart raced as Wisteria made her way over. Homie, she's coming this way, I can't believe it!
Homie chuckled and nudged her forward.
Go on, Ghost, this is your moment. With a mix of nerves and excitement, Ghost stepped forward, her voice barely more than a whisper. Wisteria, I'm such a huge fan. Your music means the world to me.
Wisteria's eyes lit up as she smiled warmly at Ghost. Thank you so much, sweetie. I'm glad my music speaks to you. It's fans like you that make it all worthwhile, Ghosty.
Ghost beamed. I knew her name. Ghost beamed her heart soaring. Your new song was incredible. It's like you were singing just for me.
Wisteria laughed softly. I'm so happy to hear that. And who's that fine fellow with you? She asked, turning to Homie.
Homie gave a playful bow. I'm Homie, Ghost's true, trusty sidekick. I'm just here to make sure she doesn't faint from excitement.
Wisteria chuckled, her laugh as musical as her voice. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you both. How about we take a picture together to remember this night?
Ghost could hardly believe her ears. She nodded eagerly, and with Homie by her side, they posed for a photo with Wisteria, a memory they would cherish forever.
As they walked away from the concert, Ghost's heart was still fluttering with joy. Thank you, Homie. That was the best night of my life.
Homie smiled down at her, his goopy grin full of affection. Anything for you, Ghost. I'm glad you got to meet your idol.
And as they made their way home under the starry sky, Ghost hummed the melody of Chasing the Stars, knowing that with friends like Homie and moments like this, she was already well on her way. The end.
We will listen to another story called
Kitten Tornado Rescue. One sunny afternoon in a peaceful town of Purville, a group of friends, Maxy, Ghost, Homie, and Kokoro, were enjoying a quiet day when something very unusual happened. The sky darkened, the wind picked up, and suddenly, a massive tornado made entirely of kittens appeared on the horizon.
Maxy, the clever tinkerer, squinted at the swirling mass of floor. Guys, is that a tornado made of kittens?
Ghost, the brave hunter, was already grabbing her gear. It sure is, and it's heading straight for the town. We got to stop it before those kittens cause chaos.
Homie, the lovable troll, scratched his head, his jolly belly shaking with laughter. A tornado of kittens? That sounds like a perfectly adorable disaster.
Kokoro, the tiny fairy, fluttered her wings with determination. Adorable or not, we have to stop it. Those kittens could cause a real mess.
As the tornado got closer, the friends could hear the kittens meowing. Except there wasn't just ordinary meows. The kittens were speaking in rhymes.
Whiskers twitch and tail so fine. We're here to cause some kitten time. Fluffy paws, eyes so bright, will turn your day into a fright.
Okay. Maxy quickly whipped out his invention, a giant cat-friendly vacuum. We need to redirect the tornado before it hits the town. I just got the thing.
Ghost grabbed her net. I round up any stray kittens that get too close.
Omi still grinning, ready a giant pillow to catch any falling fur balls. I've got a soft landing covered.
Kokoro, with her magic sparkling, floated above the group, and I used my fairy dust to calm them down.
The tornado of kittens drew nearer, their fully formed spinning and trembling in the air. With a deep breath, Maxy turned on the vacuum. It roared to life, pulling the swirling kittens toward it. But the kittens weren't going to down without a fight.
Meow meow, we're on the prowl. We'll spin you around and make you howl. You think you're clever? You think you're spry? But we'll escape before you try.
Kokoro sprinkled her fairy dust over the kittens, and their meows turned into soft purrs. One by one, the kittens floated gently into Ghost's net, and any that fell were caught by Homi's giant pillow.
Finally, with a final swoosh, the last of the kittens was safely contained, and the tornado dissipated into nothing more than a gentle breeze.
Maxy wiped his brow, smiling at the sight of all the sleepy, purring kittens. That was close, but we did it!
Ghost, cradling a few kittens in her arms, grinned. They're pretty cute, but I'm glad we caught them before they could do any real damage.
Homie, with kittens napping all around him, chuckled. Best tornado ever! And look, they've come down!
Kokoro fluttered down, landing softly on Maxy's shoulder. Mission accomplished, team. Purrville is safe. But these little guys just needed a nap.
The kittens, now too sleepy to rhyme, snuggled up with their friends, the adventure coming to a peaceful, purring end.
As the sun set over Purrville, the group sat together, surrounded by their new, fluffy friends, knowing they have saved the day once again.
The end.
Yay.
We will continue our journey with a story called
The Bedtime Adventures of Meep, Ghost, and Homie the Kittens. In a cozy little cottage nestled under a big oak tree lived 3 playful kittens named Meep, Ghost, and Homie. The sun was setting and the sky was turning a soft shade of pink, signaling that it was time for the kittens to go to bed. But these 3 weren't quite ready for bedtime.
Meep, but I'm not sleepy yet. Meep meowed, rolling around the soft rug in the living room.
Ghost, with her big curious eyes, was peeking out the window. There's still so much to see outside. The stars are just starting to come out. Meow.
Homie, the fluffiest of the 3, was lounging on his back, his big belly rising and falling as he purred contently. Hardy har har. Why sleep when we can have a snack? Anyone else want some midnight munchies?
But just then, their human caretaker walked in, smiling warmly at the mischievous trio. All right, little ones, it's time for bed, she said gently. We need to get our beauty sleep so we can have more fun tomorrow.
Meep pouted a little, but knew that their human was right. Meep, okay, but only if we can have a bedtime story.
Ghost's ears perked up. Ooh, yay, a story about adventure.
Homie stretched out lazily. And snacks. Don't forget snacks in the story.
Their caretaker chuckled and scooped them up one by one, placing them in their cozy little beds. She pulled the blankets up to their chins and began to tell them a story about 3 brave little kittens who explored a magical garden full of talking flowers and tasty treats.
As she told the story, Meep's eyes began to droop, imagining themselves as the hero of the tale. Ghost curled up tighter, her mind filled with visions of the twinkling stars in the magical garden. Even Homie, with his love for snacks, found his eyelids getting heavier as he pictured the delicious feast the kittens had at the end of their adventure.
By the time the story was over, all 3 kittens were fast asleep, their little bodies curled up snugly in their beds. Their human caretaker quietly tiptoed out of the room, leaving them to their sweet dreams.
And so, with their minds full of stories and their hearts content, Meep, Ghost, and Homie drifted off into a peaceful slumber, ready for whatever adventure tomorrow might bring. The end.
And
We will continue our journey this evening with a story called
The Bunny Brigade and the Quest for the Giggleberry. In the heart of a sun-dappled forest, where the trees whispered secrets and the flowers giggled with every breeze, there lived 3 bunnies who were the best of friends. There was Arf, the wise and thoughtful bunny, with a knack for solving problems. Ghost, the energetic and mischievous bunny, who always had a twinkle in her eye. Homie, the big-hearted and slightly goofy bunny who loved to make everyone laugh.
One fine morning, as the three bunnies gathered by their favorite mushroom patch, Ghost hopped excitedly in circles. I heard something amazing, you two! There's a legendary berry, deep in the forest, that's as goofy as it is special. It's called the Giggleberry, and it's supposed to make anyone who eats it burst into uncontrollable laughter.
Homie's ears perked up, and he wiggled his nose in delight. A berry that makes you laugh? That sounds like the most fun thing ever. We have to find it.
Arf, always the practical one, tilted his head thoughtfully. The Giggleberry, you say? I've heard stories about it. They say it only grows in a hidden grove that's guarded by the trickster toad. If we're going to find it, we'll need to be clever.
Ghost grinned with her eyes sparkling with determination. Then it's settled. We'll go on an adventure to find the Giggleberry.
And so, the Bunny Brigade set off on their silly adventure. They hopped through fields of flowers that tickled their paws, past bubbling brooks that gurgled with laughter, and under the shade of trees that danced to the rhythm of the wind.
As they ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered all sorts of curious creatures. A family of giggling squirrels showed them a shortcut through the thorny brambles, while a wise old owl pointed them towards the direction of the trickster toad's grove.
Finally, after hours of hopping, the three bunnies arrived at the entrance to the secret grove. The air was thick with the scent of sweet berries, and the ground was carpeted with soft, giggly moss. But there, blocking their path, sat the trickster toad, a plump, warty creature with a mischievous grin and a glint in his eye.
Well, 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 croaked the trickster toad, his voice full of mischief. What brings you bunnies to my grove? You wouldn't be after the Giggleberry, would you?
Homie, ever the friendly bunny, hopped forward with a big smile. We sure are, Mr. Toad. We've heard it's the goofiest, most special berry in the whole forest.
The trickster's toad chuckled, his belly shaking. Oh, it is indeed. But to reach the Giggleberry, you must first pass my 3 tests. Are you up for the challenge?
Ghost puffed out her chest, her ears standing tall. We're ready. What's the first test?
The trickster's toad eyes twinkled with glee. First, you must make me laugh. Tell me the funniest joke you can think of.
Arf, Ghost, and Homie put their heads together, whispering and giggling. Finally, Homie stepped forward and, with a big grin, said, Why did the carrot go to the dance? Because it couldn't beat the rhythm.
The trickster's toad burst into laughter, his croaky voice echoing through the grove. Ho! That's a good one. You've passed the first test. Now for the second test, you must find the hidden Giggleberry among all those lookalikes.
He gestured to a field of bushes, each one brimming with berries that looked almost identical to the real Giggleberry.
Arf's sharp eyes scanned the bushes. With a knowing smile, he hopped over to a bush in the far corner. This one, he said confidently, the real Giggleberry has a tiny hidden smile on its surface.
Trickster Toad hopped over, peering closely at the berry. Well done, Arf. You found it. But there's one final test. To win the Giggleberry, you must outlaugh me!
The 3 bunnies looked at each other. Then the trickster's toad, who was already chuckling to himself, without missing a beat, they all began to giggle. First a little, then a lot, until they were rolling on the ground, laughing so hard their bellies ached.
But the trickster toad wasn't one to be outdone. He puffed up his chest and let out a deep, rumbling laugh that shook the leaves off the trees and sent ripples through the air. The bunnies laughed even harder, their giggles bouncing off the trees and mixing with the toad's booming guffaws.
In the end, it was impossible to say who laughed the hardest. The grove was filled with so much laughter that even the trickster toad had to wipe tears from his eyes.
You've done it, he croaked, still chuckling. You've passed all of my tests. The Giggleberry is yours.
With a hop and a skip, Ghost plucked the Giggleberry from the bush and held it up triumphantly. We did it!
Arf smiled, his ears twinkling. His ears twinkling with pride, but also his eyes were twinkling with pride as well, because that's the normal thing to twinkle. It just goes to show that with a bit of wit, a bit of laughter, and a lot of heart, we can achieve anything.
Homie still giggling added, and now we get to share the Giggleberry with all our friends.
The Giggleberry is very potent. With the Giggleberry in tow, the Bunny Brigade hopped back to their home in the forest, their hearts light and their spirits high. They knew that no matter what goofy adventures awaited them next, they would face them together with laughter and love. The end.
We're almost reached the dreamland, so we will continue with a story called Homie's Hilarious Recruitment Adventure. In a small, quirky town nestled between rolling hills, lived a funny and clumsy cult leader named Homie. But Homie wasn't like the other cult leaders. He didn't take himself too seriously, and he had a unique way of recruiting people. With a twinkle in his eyes, cling, and a loud yeah on his lips, he would set off on his mission every day, accompanied by his loyal sidekick, Yayo.
Yeehaw! Yayo! Today's the day we find some new recruits for our cult.
You try to not trip over your own feet this time, homie.
They approach a man lounging by a cafe, wearing cool sunglasses. This is Jorge, exuding an air of confidence.
Yeehaw! That's our guy, Yayo. Let's recruit him.
Homie puffs out his chest, straightens his hat, and approaches Jorge with exaggerated swagger.
Hey there, Jorge. Ever thought about joining a cult? We got free snacks and matching robes.
Jorge lowers his sunglasses, raises an eyebrow at Homie.
A cult, huh? What's the catch?
Homie tries to strike a cool pose but accidentally knocks over a nearby flower pot. Crash!
Oops. I meant to do that. Yeehaw!
I think I'll pass, homie, but thanks for the offer.
Nice try, homie. Who's next?
No worries, partner. Let's try someone else.
Homie and Yayo spot Meep, a small figure hopping around with a big smile. Meep is full of energy and always say one word, Meep.
Well, howdy, Meep. How would you like to join our cult? We've got snacks, and we're a lot of fun. Yeehaw!
Meep! As Homie bends down to Meep's height, he accidentally steps on his shoelace and falls over.
Yeehaw!
Meep tilts their head, says Meep again, and hops away.
This isn't working, homie.
Just a minor setback. Onward, Yayo.
Inside the bakery, Vivi is cracking jokes with customers. She's funny, bubbly, and always says the most random things. Homie approaches Vivi, ready to make his pitch.
Did you know that a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance? I mean, how fabulous is that?
Homie is momentarily thrown off by the random fact.
That's pretty cool. But hey, Vivi, how about joining our cult? We've got...
Do we get to wear pink flamingo hats?
Homie looks at Yayo, who just shrugs.
Sure. Pink flamingo hats it is. Yeehaw!
Awesome. But nah, I think I'm good. Maybe next time.
Vivi returns to her conversation, leaving Homie standing there.
Well, we gave it our best shot, homie.
Yeehaw! That's what it's all about, right? You can't recruit them. At least you can make them smile.
The sun sets over the town. Homie and Yayo walk back home, laughing about their day's adventure.
Another day, another adventure. Yeehaw!
Well, you might not recruit anyone today, but you sure made everyone laugh.
And that's what makes it all worth it. Yeehaw!
Sometimes the best adventures aren't about success, but the smiles and laughter along the way. Thus ending the story of Homie's hilarious recruitment adventure.
Yay!
Nice.
Woo!
Yay.
And the last story of tonight's episode is called
Skateboarding Rebel. Ride or slide.
In the not-so-sleepy town of Grindstone, there was a group of teenagers known for their edge, attitude, and constant search for the next big thrill. Wisteria, with her purple hair and a tendency to challenge anything and everything, was the leader of this crew. Then there was Homie, the laid-back guy who was always down for a good time, as long as it didn't involve too much effort. And lastly, Ghost, the quiet but daring one, always lurking in the background until it was time to make a bold move.
One day, as they wandered aimlessly through the town, trying to figure out what to do next, they stumbled upon something that would change their lives forever. A group of skaters tearing it up at the local skate park. "Check it out," Wisteria said, her eyes lifting up with interest. "Those dudes are flipping and flying like it's nothing. We should totally try that."
Homie, who was leaning against a wall, munching on a bag of chips, raised an eyebrow. "Skateboarding? Sounds like a lot of work, but I guess it looks kinda cool."
Ghost, who had been silently observing, nodded. "I'm in, but where do we even start?"
Without missing a beat, Wisteria marched over to the skaters, her edgy attitude on full display. Hey! Oh!
Hey! Teach us how to do that, or we'll show you how it's done.
The skaters, a little taken aback by her boldness, shrugged and handed over a couple of extra boards. "Knock yourselves out, but don't say we didn't warn you. It's harder than it looks."
Wisteria grabbed a board and hopped on, wobbling as she tried to find her balance. "How hard can it be?" she muttered, just before the board shot out from under her and sent her tumbling to the ground.
Homie laughed, nearly choking on his
Hardy
chips. Hardy har har. Yeah, that looked super easy.
Ghost, however, was already studying the moves of the others. She stepped onto her board with surprising ease, her natural balance kicking in. "You just have to feel it," she said, gliding forward and surprising herself with how smoothly she moved.
Wisteria, undeterred, got back up and tried again.
"Okay, fine. So it's Tricky. But Tricky is my middle name."
The trio spent the rest of the afternoon practicing, falling, and getting back up. Homie, despite his initial laziness, found himself getting more into it as he started to nail a few basic tricks. "This is actually kinda awesome," he admitted, grinning as he rolled down a small ramp.
Ghost was a natural, quickly picking up the tricks that took others weeks to learn. "I didn't think I loved this so much," she said, pulling off a clean ollie. "It's like flying but on the ground."
Wisteria, after several failed attempts, finally landed a shaky kickflip.
"Yes! I knew I could do it!"
She's-
shouted, her voice echoing across the skate park. "We're totally making this our thing."
As the sun began to set, the three friends sat on their boards, looking out over the town with a newfound sense of pride and excitement.
"Skateboarding is more than just riding a board," Wisteria said, her voice full of determination. "It's about pushing limits, breaking rules, and not caring what anyone else thinks."
Homie nodded, munching on the last of his chips. "And it's pretty good workout too. Who knew?"
Hardy har har. Ghost, with a rare smile on her face, added, "It's about being brave enough to try something new, even if you fall a few times."
And with that, the trio knew they had discovered something special. A new way to express their edgy personalities and take on the world, one trick at a time.
From that day on, Wisteria, Homie, and Ghost were no longer just a group of edgy teens. They were skaters, rebels on wheels, ready to take on anything life threw them.
And with that story, we reached the end of our journey to Dreamland. So close your eyes and rest. Dream of the things you love the best. Tomorrow is another quest. But for now, good night and remember that you are the best. See you on the next one.